beings. And this is something that we have to advocate not only for the United States. This thing that we have to propose the entire world. We want no more killing parasites in our societies, no more armed forces anywhere. And what we need in this process is to have all of that money that is spent on killing human beings. We need to have that money invested in human needs, in schools, in health systems, in housing, in jobs for people, so that we can have a dignified life. It doesn't make sense to have soldiers anymore. No more soldiers. What we need here is workers, simple workers to move forward this world. And we also need not only to have workers move the world, but we need the workers to rule the world. That's what we need. Has had a history of intervention in other countries, a history of war, a history of oppression. You have to start thinking differently. You have to start proposing new systems of life. Yes. You have to start saying, this is war. The people united will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
We're coming out here for a serious cause, which is against the war. And as you all know, we're high school students from Prospector Academy Charter School in Cambridge. They threatened to suspend us, but we didn't give a shit about it, so now we're out here. We want to take the intensity down a little bit, and we want to refresh your minds with some deaf poetry. Who here likes poetry? So we're going to take our man. Hold on.
Alright, this is my boy. His name's Catastrophe, and he's gonna hit you with a little poetry right now.
Alright.
Alright, so this is a poem I wrote about our situation. Alright. You know what they say about war and its purpose? It doesn't hold meaning. The concept is worthless. Fighting for something that just isn't right. We don't go down easy, we put up a fight. We invest in the war with no money for health. Bush has us fighting while his gun's on the shelf. The poor of the world is fighting our war. 6 years and counting, but who's keeping score? Invest your money in our education. Don't waste your cash in liars' occupation. Their system's corrupt, laced in our glitches. End the war now, you government bitches.
Organizing and to build the communities and to build the organizations that can mobilize people for these strikes, because that's how we're going to end war, when we're organized and we can fight back. I've been opposing the war in Iraq, I tell people, since 1998. I was a high school student. Clinton had a bombing campaign called Desert Storm. And that's what first got me interested in international politics, made me realize what the United States was doing around the world. The United States had a policy back then. It was a blockade. A lot of people use the word sanctions, but there's an important difference. A blockade is a war crime. The United States was engaged in war crimes against Iraq ever since the first Gulf War in '91.
Shell, take your war and go to hell. Exxon Mobil, BP, Shell, take your war and go to hell. Exxon Mobil, BP, Shell, take your war and go to hell. One more, Exxon Mobil, BP, Shell, take your war and go to hell.
Workers and their families. I think you've heard of the ICE raids in Chelsea and around the state. So we're part of the struggle against these raids in defense of our community and for sanctuary in our city. We initiated a demonstration in front of the Chelsea City Hall in protest of the ICE raids. As far as the the war abroad, I've got to say something in conjunction with the chant that we just recited. And that is, how many people really talk about the economic motives for this war? Even though the majority
sing. Here you are, Marianne.
Like it's one of my favorites too. It's bullshit, get off